10 years ago, I was 24 years old. It's a cold November night in Berlin, and the rain is hitting the windows of this old hospital that I'm in. I hide under my blanket just to get away from this thick smell of disinfectant in the air, and my face lights up with the blue light of the phone screen as I Google the two words I have just heard for the first time. Multiple sclerosis, an inflammatory autoimmune disease of the nervous system. As I read through the search results, I realize I am completely screwed. In 2 months from now, I will not be able to get dressed without help. I will lose my job. I will lose my ability to walk. I will also pee my pants in public all the time. I will lose my dignity. I will lose my dreams. Everything that makes me me will be taken from me by this invisible monster that now lives inside my body. I had come to these websites looking for a silver lining, for someone to tell me maybe, just maybe, you will be okay. But not a single one. All I find is old, stiff websites, some forums where patients report on their terrible symptoms like numbness and pain, fatigue, depression. It feels like I have fallen into a dark well, and I'm miles away from what used to be my life until just a few moments ago. I'm terrified. I need someone to talk to. I need just someone who's going through the same thing as I'm going through. And all I get is this doctor telling me, "You have MS. It is theoretically, under some circumstances, possible to lead a nearly somewhat normal life." And I'm like, theoretically, under some circumstances, nearly normal, like what? And then there's these 10 cute med students my age that follow the doctor around. I mean, had I known I'd be the center of their attention, I would have asked them to take out the IV drip off my arm so I could at least do something about my hair. Looking back at this experience, I can say that as a patient, social media saved me. Now, social media, that's just these superficial platforms full of optimized lives and bodies, shady coaches, shirtless guys eating raw meat off wooden chopping boards. That doesn't seem like the place where people come to be saved. I will give you 3 reasons how social media and why social media can save a patient. This is Felicitas. She is 34 years old, one of my followers. She's a midwife who lives in the countryside of Germany. 14 years ago, Felicitas was diagnosed with MS. To visit her doctor, the drive is about 20 kilometers. When Felicitas needs to go to the hospital, the drive is 1.5 hours. She told me that through social media, at least she has some form of access to an exchange with other patients. Do you remember the last time you had to go to a hospital, the waste of time, the waiting around? Well, social media is right there when and where you need it. Patients don't have to take their car, board a train. They don't have to expose themselves to potentially dangerous or overwhelming situations. Social media is there for you at 3 a.m. when your fears are at their darkest, and also in rural areas. What do you think? How much time does a doctor get per patient in Germany? Any guesses, or maybe anyone knows? Seven minutes. A doctor gets 7 minutes per patient in Germany. So, of course, due to this short amount of time, the doctor will focus more on the physical aspects of your illness. But an illness, and that does not just go for multiple sclerosis, it goes for any illness. It will affect the way you eat and work, the way you can plan your career, or simply your birthday party. It affects your friendships, your family. Illness sneaks into all areas of your life. So what do patients do when they leave the practice? They turn to social media. They are looking for information. What does this illness mean for my life, for my everyday life? And that's where us patient creators come into play. We create content on social media for other patients. We are informing them and we are empowering them. We are filling the gap into which patients fall when they leave their doctor's practice. So, does it start to click why social media can save a patient? But what does that have to do with you, right? Do you have a chronic illness? Do you know someone who has a chronic illness? Take a look at the person sitting next to you on the couch. Statistically, one of you two is chronically ill. I'm not saying this to scare you, it's just facts. Just like that, you or somebody that you love might become a patient. So, what do you do when you get your diagnosis? What is the feeling that you get when you get your diagnosis? You feel so damn lonely. Marion, one of my clients, told me that when she was diagnosed with MS, her doctor, her family, her friends, they were there for her, but they could never fully understand what she is going through. She felt so alone. And it was only when she saw the posts, the comments, the stories of other patients on social media that she saw her inner world reflected in their words. She realized she's not alone, and there are many people going through the same thing as she is. So, social media does not just provide flexibility, information, it provides community. And that for me is one of the most important aspects. And not only Marion has found community on social media. I have seen amazing friendships, even romantic relationships, form in these digital patient communities. We are connecting on these platforms, and social media gives patients the space they need to talk about their illness. And for these 3 reasons, I am proud to be part of the patient creator movement. Two years after my diagnosis, I am in a very different place. I'm on Borneo, at the base of Mount Kinabalu. The green jungle around me is so dense, and the air so thick with moisture I can almost grab it with my hands. I am here to climb the highest mountain of Malaysia. And then I see them, and I hear them. Young, fit backpackers coming down this mountain in literal shambles. They are covered in sweat and dust, shaking with exhaustion. Some are actually crying. And I realize I can't do it. I cannot climb this mountain. I'm too weak. What do you think? What is the reason I'm too weak? The reason I'm too weak is not the MS. Because in my case, and with the treatment I'm on, the MS has left me pretty much alone, apart from some numbness in the left side of my body, some electric tingling that I get, pain behind my eyes, and blurry vision. I'm too weak to climb this mountain because I'm a chain-smoking, shot-shooting party girl in her mid-20s who's trying to party away the dread of her diagnosis. But it's like in this moment on Borneo, something inside of me changes. It's like finally my illness is waking me up after such a long time of neglect. And I decide in this moment that I will be as fit and as healthy as I possibly can whilst being chronically ill. Because maybe, just maybe, what had been true for other people living with MS did not have to be true for me. In the end, MS affects every person very differently. And I'm not going to do this alone. I will share my journey on social media. So in 2017, I launched my social media channels. And today, I just checked a few minutes ago, 10,102 people are following my journey every day. And I'm not alone in this. There are more and more patient creators who share their everyday struggles, their learnings, and their everyday tips on social media. We are raising awareness where it's needed. So, if you feel the calling inside of yourself to become a patient creator, to share your own journey with your illness on social media, I can only say, do it. Because one day, your story might be the survival guide for another patient. My online journey fills me with purpose and joy every day. Because nowadays, when a 20-something-year-old gets her diagnosis, she hides under her hospital blanket and she Googles. She is not alone because us patient creators are there for her. And I can be the one to tell her, maybe, just maybe, you're going to be okay.